has any questions regarding that? And if not, I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes.
Tim has motion. Someone second that?
Okay, I got Paul, I got Gretchen coming in and Bill's here.
Okay.
Okay. We have 13 participants. That's good.
Good. I need a second to,
I second it.
Nancy?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to, and I apologize for the delay. That, a lot of it's part of my fault too.
It's actually, Deb is on vacation and she came out of vacation to get us all on here, so.
Well, I
thank
appreciate
her
that.
and-
I didn't realize this was a new software. I thought we were going on Zoom. That's
No,
what
we're on the Windstream.
Got it. All righty, so new business. Update from the town of Summers liaison meeting. Any word from them?
No word from them. Bill and I tried contacting a number of people. We did get a positive response from our state rep, and we got a positive response from our state senator and the DOC, and still I get no response from Summers.
Yeah, and I have to second that. Nelson, I also tried contacting them. I spoke to members of the finance committee who I'm friends with in Summers, and they've tried to connect with the selectmen to see if anybody's interested, and I got no response either.
Okay. Listen, we reached out, we put out the olive branch, see if they wanted to come and join, so it's out
Well, you
there.
know what, we can try again, and we'll try, it's been a little tough to communicate with anybody.
Well, here, let me ask, hey, Nick Rodriguez, I have a question for you. For the prison liaison over at Summers, how are you guys communicating with them from the prison liaison?
Just like you guys with the email.
You guys do strictly email? You don't do this here?
No, well, we haven't had a meeting ever since COVID. Everything's been on pause.
Nick, I wonder if you could send us or send Nellie the email address so that Donna and I can contact that person.
Right, and we can invite them to the December meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll send. Who do you want me to send the email address to?
Send it to Nelson, and then Nelson, you can
Yeah.
get it out to us.
Sure. It's NELD 1292@yahoo.com.
NELSON, right?
Oh, no, I'm not going with SON. It's
Okay.
NELDEE 1292@yahoo.
Gotcha.
All right?
Yep.
All righty. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. We're just trying to, because my understanding, they haven't had one in quite some time, and we're just trying to join forces if they're willing to.
No, I
Basically,
mean, we like that idea. That way it kills two birds with one stone.
that's exactly what I was getting at. You know,
Right, and
like,
it's one location, really.
right.
Yeah.
Great. I would appreciate any help you guys can do up there. We would appreciate that.
All right, I'll send you all their emails.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Great.
Great.
Donna,
Who's speaking?
Tim Slade.
Yes, Tim.
Donna, I just got an email from Jeff Golden. He says he was kicked out and he was asking if somebody can let him back in.
I just let him in.
Okay.
I'm in. Thank you, Tim.
You
Well,
back?
And if you get anything else like that, alert me, because it only comes up on a screen and I have to try to pay attention to what you guys are saying
I
and
know. It was
watch the
weird.
screen.
I was able to see and hear you guys, but my it just kept spinning saying waiting. But I'm in. I can see you and you can hear me. All's good.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Jeff, how you doing?
Welcome aboard,
Well,
Jeff.
Good, good.
Hello, everyone.
The Everbridge update. Mr. Tim Slade brought that up last month. Tim, you want to elaborate to let Nick Rodriguez know where we're at? What's your
Well, I don't really have an update, Nelson. The only thing I got is the ongoing conversation about what I consider the inconsistencies of the Everbridge system. as it relates to items other than the prison. And the only thing I got is, the whole notification system started out with a telephone tree. Then it went to pagers. At some point, it went to the Everbridge system. I don't know who agreed to that, who decided that's the way it was going to be, but I'm still not understanding why a state facility is using a local Everbridge system for notifications. Now, some time ago, a couple of years ago, I requested that a test message be sent from, I can't remember who that was. That message was sent.
That was Captain Cavaleros, I think it was something like that.
I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I believe it came from the state Everbridge system, but we're doing the local Everbridge system, and I'm having a little trouble understanding why a state facility is using a local Everbridge system when we have a state Everbridge system.
Nick?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that. I could try to research the whole Everbridge. I know we have our Everbridge that we control from central office, but I think at one time it was through the EOC that they recommended the change because it was a more stable and more dependable system as opposed to the pagers and the phone tree system that we once had. I'll ask there's been a big change at central office with the administration and the key players. I will research that. I'll assign that to one of our to Director Kata to research and then get us an answer on that.
All righty.
The other concern is, and it's even more of a concern to me since Summers doesn't seem to have a prison liaison committee anymore, is what happens if a Summers issue comes up. Now, I've been told that Enfield would send that out. Again, I don't understand that. It's another, I realize they're close, but they're two separate committees, two separate areas. And I just think it should be a state notification rather than a local.
Well, so I remember we had an incident one time. Correction on the Summers thing. Summers did have a meeting pre-COVID. They did have a meeting. I think it was maybe around December or January. They did have a meeting, and then after that, we haven't had one since because COVID happened. With regards to the Everbridge system, when we had Commissioner Cook, and he was communicating to staff about COVID and the informational stuff. The feedback that I got was any information, any emergency information pertaining to COVID or whatever will come out of the local 911 system at that time.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the Everbridge system? The local 911 system is, as I understand it, totally separate from the Everbridge system. 911 system is a reverse 911 situation.
Well, no, I get what you're saying, but again, I'm trying to remember the incident that we had that it was communicated to me that the local authority would notify the community at the time. Again, I forget what the incident was, but it was something that notifications needed to be made. I think, you know what, it might have been that there was a person that I think it was either Enfield. It was a high-speed chase, somebody coming in from Mass that Enfield PD was chasing, and we were concerned about notifying the local residents. And the feedback that I got from central office at the time was that information will be disseminated by the local authorities.
Okay, but what about a situation such as an escape?
Again, that I will reach out to Director Kata tomorrow to research that. At one time, and we still have the Everbridge system, but again, nothing severe has happened. I mean, knock on wood, in our correctional facilities that has caused us to activate that system. And again, there's been a change in administration. There's been a lot of key players that at one time were in those positions for long periods of time that knew that system. So right now we got a lot of new people in these positions that they're not familiar with. And that's why, like I communicated to you before, I'll reach out to Director Cotta tomorrow, who oversees the tactical operations unit, because at one time they oversaw the Everbridge system. And I'll have him research and gather some information for our next meeting.
Okay,
And then, let me
that'd
ask
be great.
if he is, whoever your expert is in the department on that system, you think you can have him at a December meeting so that we can kind of like put closure to this one?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would very
I don't have
much
an
like,
issue. Absolutely, because that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, no, I
Absolutely. Yep, I will. I'll invite him.
out that we've been dealing with this for years. We just want a firm answer in your system on how it works pertaining to the community.
Okay, absolutely.
Enough?
Yep,
that'd be
that's good.
great. Thank you.
All right, Tim. Thank Nick. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And sorry, just a habit. I call you Nick all the time. It's just we go back a ways.
No problem.
All right. Anything else on the new business anybody wants to bring up?
Yeah, Jeff Golden here. I think I can shed a little bit of light because I know for the two incidents that happened in the last couple of years, the one was the escape where the gentleman left, Carl Robinson, and then the second one was the walk away from Assunta Community College.
Nick, you know who Jeff is? He's a captain with the police department.
No, I don't.
I just want to introduce you, Jeff. Sorry.
No problem. Nice to meet you there, sir.
Likewise.
So I could speak briefly on that. We utilized our local Everbridge for both of those events.
you're breaking.
in
Jeff, you're breaking a bit.
collaboration with DOC. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
and
I
I-
can.
Whatever you just did.
So those two, we had two situations: the escape from Carl Robinson and the walk away from Miss Nuntuck. And Enfield PD activated the Everbridge system when we worked with DOC. We were invited to their EOC because of the magnitude. And then the on-scene supervisor talked with the on-scene supervisor from State Police and DOC, and we had a unified command. And it was determined for the best interests of the residents of Enfield. So there's a balance act of how much do you want to alert people? Because when you alert people, if you're not 100% sure or you're putting out bad information, then that you'll be explaining yourselves the next day to many people, including the news media, of why did you put out bad information? So there's a balance out, but then you can't jeopardize the investigation, but you also can't jeopardize people's safety. So and I know I was directly involved with the one that happened at Nuntuck College, is we had a good description, a direction to travel, and we were concerned for the resident safety. So we told and worked with DOC and CSP, saying that we're going to put out this. We have to put this out. It's in our town. We know who he is. We need to put that information out. So there may be a local flavor of that. Maybe that's why I'm just kind of reading in between the lines here. Maybe why DOC at the state level kind of invites the local agency in, apprises them of the situation, and then uses the local people that show up or sign up for Everbridge for Enfield, because that's where the facilities are, either a community college or a state correctional facility. They're signing up for Enfield PD to notify. And in those situations, if those facilities are in the town of Enfield, we're obviously going to show up. So DOC calls us immediately whenever they have an incident like that. And that may be why it's just deferred to whichever local agency has that jurisdiction, because we already have the Everbridge set up and we can just do a mass notification rather simply. That may be why it's been deferred to us. But Mr. Slade has a good point. It's a state facility. Why isn't the state doing it? That's beyond my pay grade.
I don't know. You got a nice pay grade there, Jeff.
Well, maybe we ought to give you a raise.
I'm hoping for one. I'm hoping for one.
Captain, a comment on your explanation. You're almost sounding like it was strictly an arbitrary decision that Enfield would use their Everbridge system. You know, and to add to that, as I recall, there was some criticism about the amount to send that information out on the Asnuntuck situation. So I gotta ask, I gotta wonder who's making these decisions. I mean, will one situation be from Enfield and maybe the next one will be from the state? You know, that seems like a relative question. You know, I don't know. It's just that Captain, you know my situation years ago.
Yes,
And
sir.
this whole thing is very important to me.
I know.
You know, fortunately, DOC has done a great job since the mid 80s, 90s. I mean, you know, there's hardly any issues. But I'm just curious who made this agreement? Is it made in the field at the time, or is it an agreement between Enfield PD and you know, DOC? I don't know. I know some years ago I was involved in myself and another individual was involved in generating a memorandum of understanding between Enfield PD and DOC. And at that time, technology was not what it is today. You know, that's a given. But everything was, you know, all notifications were thrown on the DOC. And I just don't understand why suddenly it's on the local level.
Well, I mean, I can answer somewhat to that. I will say sometimes that's discretionary depending on the situation. Just like the captain spoke about, sometimes you don't want to put out information because you don't have all the information, and you don't want to create a panic in the community. So I know in certain situations that our agency communicates with the local leadership, law enforcement leadership, and they decide what's best to put out for the community. With regards to an MOU and when it changed, I do not know. But I know that being in part of certain meetings and being part of certain command centers, that decision is made by the commissioner, whether who's going to put what information out and when. Again, it all depends on community safety comes first, and we don't want to create a mass panic. So we leave it a lot of times. What I've seen, that we leave it up to the administration at the local PDs to make that determination.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm just wondering why, you know, again, I got to go back to why is the local law enforcement Everbridge system being involved and the state system, which implies they're going to give us that information, isn't being used. I mean, what's the purpose of the state?
Now, also, we did a recent audit of who was signed up in the state Everbridge system, and not too many people are signed up into our system, because you have to input your information into the system in order for it to automatically to call you. And we did that audit again when Commissioner Cook was trying to put out information to staff, and not too many staff members were signed up, and also people from the local communities, Summers and Enfield, weren't signed up into that Everbridge system as well.
Yeah, I can believe that. I understand that. But it's
so
still...
a lot of times what we put out, and I know, and I speak from experience, a lot of times how we, because of technology, how it has evolved over the years, we've been putting out stuff via Facebook, via Twitter, and through other social media apps.
Yes, I know. I'm aware of that, but I'm not surprised not too many people are signed up. It seems like there really wasn't, although, you know, digitally, I guess the information's been put out, but I'm not sure people understand that there's a difference between the state and the local. But anyway, those are my concerns.
I could just, if I could just make one point, because I think it's worth saying, like the Snuntuck college incident, just because I was involved with it, I made that decision from my sunroom because of the information that was relayed with command staff, that we had a sergeant that was at Carl Robinson, we had an officer at Carl Robinson, CSP was just showing up, and we had a DOC warden, and we were fearful enough that we were worried about our residents. And once that decision was made, we initiated our Everbridge because, and again, I don't mean to sound rude or callous. I don't care what other systems are out there. We know our system works. We know we have a good following. And if we were concerned for our safety, we're putting that out as soon as possible. So I guess maybe you have two systems. Maybe a state goes out, maybe, but then again, you may have conflicting information and it may be more confusing. I know when we fear that there's a need to put out an Everbridge, if it's for an escapee, if it's a road closure, if it's a barricaded subject, if it's a live power lines or something, then it is subjective, Mr. Slade. You're right, and I'm not going to argue that point because it is subjective. It depends. Excuse me, there. It depends on the on-scene supervisor, the assessment, what the time of the event. Obviously, if there's a tree down across the road, we're not going to do an Everbridge at 3:00 in the morning because it's really not affecting anybody. But a person that walked away from a college in the afternoon, that went out as soon as practical. So I can't speak to the difference between a state notification. Maybe because of the numbers, hey, if we have more following in Enfield than the state does, we want to maximize as many people. But it's not just the Everbridge. When we did that notification, again, only because I was intimately involved with it, we hit Twitter, we hit Facebook, and it got shared. It got shared through the masses of the news media. So we try to cover all our bases.
Yeah, and and it's you got to look at each situation differently. I've been there, done that. So if the state is going to take over, they're going to take over. And if they can share with the local PD or authorities, they will allow them to take the ball and run. As long as it gets done, that's bottom line is what it comes down to. But next month, hopefully we'll have someone else to exactly explain everything to us. I think we'll have a better answer there. No disrespect to the new administrator, just to, bring us up to speed. And it's, we're putting him on a spot here today too.
Well, we have a new commissioner, so.
He ain't new to us.
Well, he's new to that position.
Yeah, he's been to our meetings and he's heard.
Yeah, I know. I know. The name was familiar.
I know, you know him very well, Mr. Slater. All righty. So anything else on the new business before we move on? All righty, let's move on. The recruitment of new committee members. If there's anybody out there in the community that would like to join the committee, by all means, pass that along. COVID status at the facilities, staff and inmate. Let's start with the Carl Robinson.
All that information is on the DOC website.
I'm not going on the DOC website.
I could tell you this for throughout the state. Right now, asymptomatic, we have a total through across the state is 21. But facility-specific information is on the DOC website. Currently, we've had up to record. Since the start of COVID, we've had 18 staff members that had tested COVID positive. Currently, right now, we have no positive symptomatic inmates.
For the past 3 months? Is that what you're saying? The past, since the last quarter?
Not since the last quarter, since within the last month, we haven't had any COVID positive symptomatic.
Thank
inmates.
you. Yep. All righty. That's good news. All right.
You can there's more detailed information with regards to COVID statuses pertaining to staff in the population and an exact breakdown by facility on the website.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yep.
Go with the facility count and status. Start with Carl Robinson.
There.
Warden. CRCI, she out there?
Yeah, she was just there. Well, I'll give you a total account. Our total population count for the state is below 9,600.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe Carl Robinson, when I toured last week, they probably had around about 823.
That is low.
Low, yeah. I mean, remember what back in the day when we were
13.
at our prime, 15, 22,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today, as of today, the count is below 9,600.
Righty. So last quarter was 833. Today is 823.
It's about eight. Yeah, it's about that.
Yeah. How about Willard Cybulski?
Good evening, sir. Count at Willard Cybulski is currently at 396. So we're at an flow with 396 between both the Willard and the Cybulski buildings.
Wow, well, you guys opening the doors and letting them out?
The community release unit has been doing a wonderful job assessing and evaluating all of the offenders statewide to ensure that, you know, they're appropriate for community release opportunities, and that effort has obviously made our count go down significantly low. But in addition to that, did you want me to give you an update on the facility at this time as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we, as a result of the second round of mass testing, we had a total of 30 offenders test positive, 29 of which were asymptomatic, and 1 of which was symptomatic and transferred to Northern Correctional for isolation status there. That's half the number that we had from our first round back in May, so we're happy about that. We are continuing with thorough deep cleaning conducted daily throughout the entire building. The agency has provided all of the facilities with disinfecting wipes, sanitizer, and appropriate PPE, which are available to all staff. Masks are routinely distributed to all of the offenders, as well as hygiene packets. We've had 0 major incidents since the last meeting. All we've had were a few fights. And we're continuing to maintain strong relationships with all of our community stakeholders to include the reintegration resources that we've had available to us. Our visiting and volunteer-led programming continues to be suspended until further notice. And so, you know, things haven't gotten completely back to normal at Willard Cybulski, but we're eager to see that happen, hopefully within the next year.
Okay, so you're telling me there has been no visiting going on at the facilities?
Correct. All of that has been suspended in an effort to minimize the potential for infection to come into the facility.
Awesome.
We are looking at potential virtual visiting options, though.
Okay. Virtual. That'd be definitely challenging, for sure.
Yeah, we understand the importance of the family dynamic and the support system. So, you know, our Securus has been offering an additional telephone call, which has helped with the offender population to remain calm during these trying times. But we also, you know, if possible, would like to get some type of visiting started without it being, you know, face to face, just to minimize that potential for contamination into the facility, since we've been doing such a great job at keeping the population healthy.
Yeah, well, that's good news. It's really good news. Great. Any incidents?
No major incidents. We've had a few 911 activations for, you know, medical care that was needed above what we can offer at the facility. And about 2 fights since our last meeting, but nothing serious.
Good to hear. Any questions, concerns to our committee?
Oh, not at this time, sir.
All right, Garcia, thank you. Anybody has any questions for her? No? All right, and CRCI, she's gone?
I'm here, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Can we get your report?
Yep, so we have 306 level threes, 421 level twos, 105 level ones, for a total of 832 inmates,
832.
correct?
Okay, significant incidents or any in your
No,
report?
no significant incidents. We've had a couple of fights. Significant.
No injuries to report on that anyway?
No, a couple of hospital trips, but again, nothing significant.
Awesome. Any renovations going on over there that we should know?
We are in the middle of a roofing project for all of our buildings. It's about 3 months that we're doing that.
And will it affect the operation itself?
No, we've been able to go like the back door of the facility, based on how the razor wire is set up and adjacent to the buildings, we can go through the backs of the buildings. So they're not on the facility compound.
Alrighty. Thank you. Anyone has any questions for the warden? All right. Any status, and I just have it because I have to ask, on the college inmates, that's still a no-go?
Yes, that's still a no-go for us. Nantucket?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as of now, that's suspended indefinitely.
Okay.
Still doing in-house though, right?
Yes, we are doing the PEL. We are working out a plan to bring back the PEL program back into the facilities and try to do it virtual. We're working on our infrastructure. That's in process now to establish remote learning.
Can you explain to them what that is? There's a lot of our members here that aren't aware of that, Nick, if you don't mind.
What remote learning is? So remote learning is, say it again. Remote learning is basically what we're doing now. You get instruction through virtual instructions like Zoom, but the platform that we will be using will be Teams. So the teacher will log on one end, just similar to what we're doing now, and the student will get the virtual instruction either via an individual computer monitor, or we'll have a projector set up so they could do multiple students.
Okay, that was my question. With
Yep.
multiple, you can hit, instead of one-on-one, you can hit numerous people all at once.
Yes, but keeping social distancing will be the key factor.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any update on the infill closing? Any?
No, infill CI will remain closed indefinitely. What we're using that facility for right now is to do our COPAT training, which is basically our testing for new staff, new recruits. That's what we're using that right now. And sometimes we have our CERT team do drills there as well.
Okay. Thank you. And to ask out there if there's anyone that's zooming in on a public forum out there, you're more than welcome if you have anything.
Nelson, I got one more question.
Yeah.
Couple meetings ago, I think maybe back in December or so, I had asked a question about the annual report. Who does that? Where are those reports available? And I had sent you some information about that. Have you been able to?
My understanding, we as a community, I've never seen one, and I talked to the office. They neither have seen one as far as any report.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. So, Mayor, you have anything? You have a phone call. Donna, you have anything you want to bring on?
I'm all set. Thank you.
All right. Bill? You're all set. All righty. Nancy, you have anything?
The signs that we put at Paul Robinson seem to have worked out really great, and we're not seeing people fishing with buckets. And just, I don't know what happened tonight, but every 10 minutes, the audio completely went out for me. So the only way for me to get it back was to sign out and sign back in. So
Okay.
I don't
And
know.
the-
what was-
For those who weren't at last quarter's meeting, it's for
Nope,
the,
I lost it again. So
let me explain to her. Got it.
Yeah.
What she's talking about is that, the officers' beach officers were going down there catching and taking
I
with them.
can't hear.
That's okay. I'm explaining to them.
I can't hear you.
It's okay.
I-
It's okay. So she put up signs out there so that the catch and release, not catch and take home. So apparently the signs are working. That's what she's getting at. Okay? Steve, you have anything, sir?
Nothing at this time.
Look comfortable. Deputy Chief, sir. Gordon, you out there? No? Gretchen,
No, I'm good.
you're good?
Thank you.
All righty. Is there anyone that needs to chime in on anything, wardens? Nick,
No, I'm all set.
thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming on board, and all your feedback and the information was helpful.
Thank you.
All right, our next meeting, need a motion to adjourn, is December 9th, and I believe, Nick, we normally have it at the Officers Beach out there at the conference center there, the log house.
Okay.
Just double check if that's still okay, and if not, we'll make other arrangements.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right,
So December 9th.
December 9th, yes.
All right.
So we won't be meeting virtually?
More than likely we'll be meeting virtually, but if
Oh.
not, I mean, if we can go, if we can have contact, we will.
Okay.
And we'll invite Summers.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it'd be nice to have a representative from Summers, whether that be a selectman or, a prison liaison committee member or, somebody from there.
No, I agree. And I think initially they were on board with having the meetings at the same time with us over here. I just don't know where the broken, the miscommunication is. I'm not sure. But I know they
Well,
were
Nick,
on
you're gonna
board
be
with it.
Nick, you're gonna be sending the email address, right? To
Yes,
Nelson?
I'm gonna be sending that to Nelson tomorrow.
yes.
So
once
we'll
I secure it.
So Tim, Don and I will follow up on that.
yeah, I'll forward it to you guys, and if whatever connection you have down at Town of Summers, at least let them know. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, anyone else has any questions or concerns you want to bring up before we adjourn? All right, need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Tim, second?
Second.
Steve? All right, thanks, everybody, and sorry for the delay and everything else. Appreciate it. Peace out.
Bye-bye, everyone.
All right.